Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about beating the holiday blues. The holidays are supposed to be a fun time, a time where people get together and they have all of their wonderful traditions and celebrate. But let's be honest, for a lot of people, the holidays are not happy. Some people get downright depressed during the holidays. And if that's you, you're not alone. And there are many reasons that this happens. For some people, the holidays remind them of a lost loved one. And the holidays can be particularly rough, especially if it's your first holiday without them. I know that this year is the first Christmas and Thanksgiving without my ex-husband and my kids, even though they didn't see him last year on Christmas and Thanksgiving because they weren't talking to him. And that was rough too. My daughter actually had a time where she broke down and started crying last Christmas. And it was rough. It was hard on her. And they're both going through this depression. And while we're trying to, it's such a weird place for us because we're trying to make the holidays really happy and togetherness for my mom who's battling cancer, and we're trying to give her like positivity and hope and all of this. And yet my children just don't even want to think about the holidays because obviously it's hard for them. This is their first real holiday without him, and it's rough. It's really rough. And I think another part of that is, stepmom is now dating somebody else, and I know that is bothering my son, and there's just so much going on. And I know that there are some of you out there who are going through the same thing. Either this is the first holiday without your loved one, it could be the 7th holiday without them, but maybe holidays have just never been the same for you because that loved one's not there. And I get that. It sucks. It really does. There's no other way to put that. But I want to give you a message of hope. First of all, I don't ever believe that when someone dies, that's just it. They're just not there anymore. I believe we cross over into another dimension. You want to call it heaven, whatever you want to call it. And I believe that our loved ones still come around us, especially around the holiday season. I feel like when we're celebrating and we are having a good time, that is when our loved ones want to come around the most because they still want to be a part of that and still want to be in our lives. So if maybe holding on to the memory that your loved ones, they're still with you in spirit, and maybe you even feel them. I was talking to a client the other day, and we were talking about how her grandmother comes through for her. And she said that a figurine that her grandmother had gotten her just flew off the shelf and fell on the floor. And, of course, I told her, I know that's your grandmother getting your attention. But I had said to her before that, I'm like, does your grandmother try to do things to get your attention? And, so that was one of the things. So you may notice things like that. You may notice things move. You may notice there's a fragrance. For a long time, when my grandmother would come around, I could smell flowers. It smelled like, and this is the only way I can describe it, and you may think, what are you talking about? But when you walk in a funeral home and you smell the smell of all of the flowers there, that's what it smells like. And it smelled like just flowers everywhere. And I realized that she was with me. And I've talked about this before, but with my grandpa, it was cigarette smoke. I would be in the car by myself driving, and no one else is in the car with me, and I don't smoke, and no one has ever smoked in my car, and yet I smell the distinct smell of cigarette smoke. Sometimes I feel like someone is playing with the back of my hair. Sometimes I feel like someone is touching my cheek. Those are all, to me, signs from our loved ones that they're still with you, and they're still trying to get through to show you, hey, I'm still here. So they can still very much be a part of your celebration, even if it's sitting around and telling funny stories about them, because we've done that before. Usually on my dad's side of the family, when we get together for the holidays, we end up telling funny stories about things that have happened in the past and things that people who have already crossed over things that they've done that were funny in the past. And it feels good to be able to talk about it and to share the memories. I was channeling a message for my Instagram video today, and I really felt like this is something that I needed to share with my whole podcast audience. And that was, when it feels like life won't get better, when you feel like you can't get out of bed, if you're having a rough time right now and you're just, and other people might think the holidays are horrible because maybe money is tight, and I get that too. Maybe you don't know what's going to happen with your job because of COVID, or maybe you can't get together with your family because of COVID because you have strict, quarantine rules, or maybe you're suffering with it, or your family is. And I mean, there's so many things going on right now, and I really, truly, my heart goes out to all of you if you're going through anything like that, because it just feels horrible to feel depressed and anxious and like you're just stuck. And so the universe wanted me to channel you a message that when it feels like you're going through that and things can't get better, or they won't get better, or you just feel stuck, we have to change our mindset. Because one of the things I know is, and my son will tell me this all the time, Mom, I can't help how I feel. And I understand that. I know that it's naturally you're feeling this way. But I would counter to you that we make a choice to stay stuck. And I know I have gone through major depression. I went through huge depression when my twins were a year old because of what I was suffering in my marriage, because I was being told on a daily basis that I was useless, that I was worthless, and that I was stupid, and, just horrible things. Much worse things that I cannot say here because I choose to keep my podcast clean. And I got to the point where I didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning. I just thought that the whole world would be better off if I wasn't here. If I was so useless and worthless, and then why am I here? I mean, that's what went through my head. Like, why am I here? If I don't matter, if I'm pointless, if God wasted breath on me, you know what I mean? I mean, that's what I was told every day. And finally, I had to make a decision that I wasn't going to listen to that anymore. That it didn't matter what my ex said to me. He didn't count. His opinion didn't count. My opinion counted. His voice didn't matter. His voice wasn't important. My voice mattered. My voice was important. I was not a waste of space, was not a waste of breath, or a waste of life, and neither are you. And so I had to decide that I was going to get out of that. And it wasn't easy, because it's the easy thing is to lay down and to just continue feeling that way and to just give up. That's the easier thing to do. The harder thing to do is to force yourself to get up, to force yourself to try something different, to look at things from a different perspective. And the immediate thing I want to say is, for me, at the holidays, this is when I knew how toxic my ex was, because holidays were 20 times worse with him. Always. And his mom had said it was like that since he was a little boy. And I knew that I didn't want that. I didn't want one more holiday where I was crying, huddled in a corner crying by the end of the night. I didn't want that. And I had to make a choice that I was going to do something different, think differently. And it took a lot of courage and strength to do that. And I can tell you that I leaned on my belief in God. I wasn't at the point in my life where I thought about angels and all of that. But I now know that I had a huge support system around me, my guides helping me and, encouraging me, like, get up, get out. You have a purpose. Go live it. So if you're feeling stuck, depressed, lost, know that, first of all, you're not alone at all. More suicides happen around the holidays than any other time of the year because it causes people to get stuck in that place of depression and anxiety, because either you're missing a loved one or because you don't have the money and because your life isn't where you think it should be. Look around, you see all the people on Facebook posting their family photos and like the matching outfits. And, for us, it was the matching pajamas because my daughter wanted that. It doesn't mean that everyone's life is perfect and you shouldn't compare yourself, but you can choose. You can choose better thoughts, better people to be around. And the universe is giving you the message that it's time to shift your focus. And you might say, how do I shift my focus when I've been doing the same thing for so long? It doesn't feel like I can reach for better thoughts. And I get that. But there are a couple of things you can do to instantly shift you out of that feeling. And the first thing is looking around you and seeing what's good in your life. If you focus constantly on what's not working, of course you're going to feel miserable. But if we look around and look at what is working, what is good in my life, and sometimes it might just be the simple, I had a bed to sleep in tonight. I had a roof over my head. That's a big deal because there are a lot of people who don't. I have a phone that I can listen to podcasts to. I have a job that I get to drive to every day while I'm listening to this podcast. Find the things that are blessings to you in your life. It's sort of like those paintings. I had a friend who gave me a book where you have to focus. At first, it just looks like a pattern or a design. And you have to really focus, and then you'll see an image inside the picture. And if you focus just on the whole thing, you don't see anything. You're like, oh, this just looks like a mess. But if you focus for this, look at the one thing, find a color, and just kind of focus your attention. All of a sudden, this image begins to show up. And like in one, there was an image of a dolphin. But you couldn't see it right away. You had to focus. And so I think that is one of the ways we can shift, is that we shift our focus instead of looking at life as a whole picture, because there's a lot of components that go into our lives. Instead, we focus on the good. What blessings do we see in our lives? What is the good in our life? And when you start focusing on that, you sort of start to see that bubble of good things becomes bigger and bigger. It's like, oh, yeah, I have this. I have that. I have family. I have friends. I have a lot of things to be grateful for. And it's important that we do that we focus on that, because right now, things are tough. We have to purposefully find things to focus our attention onto good things, to make sure that we're always pointed towards the sun, not the shadow. Another message that I got was make sure that you're doing something that makes you happy. So for me, for the holiday, I think about things I enjoy. I like to cook. So I've decided that I'm going to bake a bunch of different kinds of recipes, and I'm going to cook them, and I'm going to allow my children, to pick some that they want. And we're just going to bake. We're going to listen to Christmas music, and we're going to bake. There are things that I didn't do with my kids when they were younger that I regret. I can't go back and change the past. I can't start over. But I can start today doing new traditions and new things with them that are going to make them happy, that will allow us to spend time together and to be closer. And that was another message that I got, was you can't start over. But you can start from the beginning and change the ending. So if you don't like where you are right now, the universe says it's not too late to change. You don't have to keep making a mistake just because you spent so long making it. You can absolutely stop at any time and course correct. And I think it's so important for us to do that. Don't keep going with the flow just because you've been doing it your whole life. You weren't meant to live a life of ordinary and mundane. You were meant to live a life that makes you happy. So do one thing every day that's going to fulfill that for you. It could be something big or it can be something small. It can be something as small as I went and I treated myself to a Starbucks today because I just wanted to enjoy something. And I made sure that I was alone and had my Starbucks and got to read my favorite book or listen to my favorite podcast. And it was beautiful. Because there are times when that, to me, is so awesome. When I have my cup of coffee and I just have my time that I can listen to the things I want to listen to uninterrupted. That's huge for me sometimes. And you might think, well, that doesn't seem like very much. Well, what is it that makes you happy? Would it be going to the beach? Then take a weekend and drive to the beach. Do something for yourself. And don't feel guilty about it. My whole life, I always felt like if I did something for myself, I would feel guilty like, well, I could have spent that money that I spent on the Starbucks to go and do something for my kids or for somebody else. Or I don't do that anymore. Forget that. I deserve it. Not because I'm good, not because I work hard, not because I deserve it because I deserve it. I deserve it because I am, and because I am, I deserve it. You're worthy because you're worthy. Not because you've done anything, because you know anyone. Your worth is not dependent on your actions. It's not dependent on people. You are worthy because you exist. So stop making excuses as to why you can't do things for yourself. Or stop making excuses or saying, well, I bought that because I work hard. I deserve it. You know what? I went online and bought myself a couple of shirts today because I saw them. They were cute and I wanted them. And normally I would say, oh, it's Christmas time. I need it. No, you know what? No. Nope. I want them. I bought them. I may not be here tomorrow. So why not enjoy my life? And we need to start doing that more often. The universe is saying, do things that make you happy. And it doesn't have to be that you spend a ton of money on yourself either. What little things can you do for yourself that make you happy? It might be as simple as, today I did nothing. I laid around the house and I watched TV that made me laugh or trashy TV, and I did nothing and it was enjoyable. It's the little things in life. You've got to make yourself happy. Also, the universe channeled to me that all is not lost. All is not lost. In the midst of all of this turmoil, you're going to find yourself. If you start doing things for yourself, doing things that make you happy, the universe is saying the greatest gift in all of that is that you find yourself. And that's what happened for me when I was so fed up, depressed, frustrated, just completely deflated. Just deflated. That's when I decided I needed to figure out who I was. And that's where I started. Who am I? What made me happy? Because I didn't even know anymore. I had always been somebody's daughter, somebody's wife, somebody's mom. But I didn't know who I was. I had to go and remove all of those labels. I'm not just somebody's mom. I'm not just somebody's daughter. I'm not just somebody's wife. I'm not just somebody's teacher. What am I? And that's where I started, looking at myself. And it took for me working with counselors and mentors to really dig through those layers and go, okay, the person I thought I was, my identity, my whole life, was what people told me I was. You're a good girl. You're this, you're that. But who really was I? What did I stand for? And that's when I started making my voice heard. And I didn't care anymore. I don't care what people think. This is me. You either like it or you don't. Take me or leave me. It is what it is. And it's an amazing feeling to be that free, to feel like, well, whatever. Okay, that's fine. You're going to find yourself in all of this turmoil. So start looking at what makes you happy and do more of that every day. And really it starts with the gratitude. What are you thankful that you have in your life? And if there are things in your life you're not thankful for, that you're like, I don't want this anymore, it's time to start letting that go. It's time to start letting that go. Do things this holiday season just for you, for nobody else. And even if that means you have a toxic family and they want you to come to Thanksgiving and you say, no, for my own sanity, I'm having my Thanksgiving with my people here in my house, then do it. Do that. There's nothing wrong with disconnecting from people who don't make you feel good, even if they're family, because most of us were born into family who are toxic. And if being around them triggers you or makes you feel bad, you have no obligation to be around them. None. It's society that tells us we have to be with our family. But if you don't want to and you don't like that, then don't. Do what's going to make you happy. Don't do what you're doing because it makes others happy. If you spend your whole life making others happy, you're just going to be miserable and resentful. Start taking care of you. Start doing things that nourish you. So my challenge to you this week is every time you feel that feeling of just depression and anxiety and worry, focus on something else. Shift your focus. Shift it to gratitude. Shift it to a memory that makes you happy. Shift it to what you are hoping to manifest and that makes you happy. You know, you want your beach house? Start dreaming about that and feel the feelings of having that. It shifts you out of that miserable, dark place. Because it is a choice. You're choosing to stay there if you don't take steps to do something different. What is the definition of insanity? It is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You have to change. You have to change what you're doing. And there are little easy ways you can do that. Look around and focus on the good so that you see more and more of it coming. Shift your thoughts. Make sure that you're not saying negative things about yourself. And also figure out who you are and what you want, what's going to make you happy. And do those little things for yourself every day, because you deserve it. All right, guys, well, I wanted to pull 2 cards for you today. Well, I was going to pull 1 and 2 came out, and I thought, okay, that's divinely guided, so I'm going to take them both. They are both from my deck, Divine Whispers, and the first one is I Surrender. It's time to surrender the outcome of a particular situation. When you let go of control and realize that the universe has your back, you will experience immense peace. You can't control how or when things show up, because it will happen in divine timing. So forget the how for now. When we try to control how and when things show up, we are allowing fear to step in. And fear often makes a mess of things. Simply breathe, relax, and trust in the awesome power of the universe. You are in good hands. And your mantras for this card are, I am divinely guided and protected. The universe is working behind the scenes on my behalf. Everything is working out perfectly for me. Your second card is Have a Little Faith. The universe is asking you to have faith, my loves. You may not be able to see anything happening in your situation right now. However, the universe is always working behind the scenes on your behalf to bring you what is for your highest good in divine timing. There are a lot of things going on behind the scenes that you don't even know about. There are many players involved in this situation. Therefore, it takes time for the universe to orchestrate everything. You don't have to have all of the answers right now, and you don't have to know when or how it's going to happen. Don't give up on your dreams. Your miracles are just around the corner. Your mantras for this card are, I will walk by faith even when I cannot see. I trust that the universe has my back. I trust that the universe is working on my behalf to bring me what is for my highest good in divine timing. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you so much for being here with me. As always, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave me a review from wherever you're listening from. If you could leave me some stars on iTunes, I would sincerely appreciate that. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I go live every Monday at 6:30 Central for a free card reading. If you show up for the live, I will pull a card for you. Also, I post videos to Instagram, and I have free guided meditations on my YouTube channel. So please take advantage of that. Also, if you want to work with me, you can go to my website, melissaoatman.com. There you will find a list of services I offer, and you can purchase a session directly from my website and then contact me to schedule it. All of my sessions are done online through Zoom, so you never have to leave the comfort of your own home. Also, don't forget my book, Beautifully Broken, is still available for sale at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Goodreads. It's also available on audiobook now, so you can go check that out. All of the links are in the show notes to this podcast. Also, you can purchase my deck, Divine Whispers. The link for that is on my website. I hope that you guys have a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.